I think we're live. Yeah. Roadhouse. Yeah, okay. What's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? We got another ProfitLink live stream, dog. Shit. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Got a couple things to cover tonight. As usual, go ahead and check out the ProfitLink Instagram page if you haven't already. That's probably what brought you here. But if you haven't been to it yet, go ahead and check it out. ProfitLink.co is our handle on Instagram. Go ahead and check that out. And then if you want to take things a step further, if you want to join in on our Discord, you're going to go ahead and click this link here, and you have two options. You can join our Discord for free, or you can pay to join. Obviously, if you join for free, you're going to get less stuff, but there's a lot of good options for you here. You know, we offer a stock and crypto watch list every single day. So we put about anywhere from like 3 to 5 stocks or cryptos on there, and we give you price targets to the upside and downside. So it's hard to go wrong with this, and it's completely free. So go ahead and check that out if you get a chance. And then if you want to take it a step further, obviously monthly access, where you have a bunch of perks in here, and we go live every single day. We actually had a learning session just before this with one of our analysts. So we have learning sessions all the time. We go live almost every single day except for Friday and Saturday, which is reasonable, so you guys can have your breaks for the weekend. All right. Let's jump right into it here. Hold on. Let me switch up the colors here. I'm feeling a little blue tonight, like in a good way. Yeah, look at that. Like the ocean. I love it. All right. So AB's here, Alan, Nismo. What's up, everybody? So let's go ahead and run through it. Today we had a GDP report, right? We had a couple of things shake up the markets today I want to highlight. The biggest one was the GDP report. So this comes out every so often, and it's very significant. And basically, you know, it's back looking, and it says how the economy's basically been doing, and it's been pretty hot lately. So the market responded to that accordingly. You can see in the pre-market here from SPY. See this big move that we got? It actually came from that report. So part of why we had, you know, the initial, you know, run up here pre-market, but today was a little bit, you know, kind of back and forth here, which makes some sense. I'll back up and talk about that in a bit. So we had the GDP report. Tomorrow, I want you to look out for the PCE report. This is part of the personal income and outlays report. There's a bunch of layers of information that come out within that report, but one of the most important ones is the PCE portion of that. This report comes out an hour before opening bell. So if you're in any positions, it's just something to be cognizant of. I would say it's more if you guys like trading futures, or if you trade anything pre-market, or if you're holding like a swing from overnight, that's just something you really need to be looking out for. But other than that, it's hard to really look out for it because you can't be trading during that time in most things that you guys are trading. So just something to be looking out for is that PCE report. It should cause an impact on the markets as well. Now, another thing that's been going on is earnings season. So earnings season officially kicked off. Usually the way it works is that, and this was more last week, I believe even 2 Fridays ago, but the way it starts off is that you have like the financial sector starting off. So you have, you know, your banks and stuff like that. So, you know, you got JP Morgan and all those other big game, you know, Goldman Sachs, Bancorp, you know, all these big banks. And that's usually the way it starts out. So you have the financial sector, and then it starts bleeding into eventually big tech. So this week, we had a couple big names. We had a lot of Dow components this week, but some of the biggest names to note is probably Netflix and Tesla. So Netflix reported yesterday, pretty good earnings. And then Tesla reported yesterday as well, or today. Wait, yesterday. I'm sorry. Netflix was 2 days ago. Tesla was yesterday. I'm losing track of my days. It's been a crazy week. Let's get rid of all that. So let's take a look at the Netflix report here and the results of that. Yeah, so 2 days ago, Netflix reported. So Netflix, they had a good revenue beat. So But the only real bad thing about the report was that they missed the top line, but that doesn't really matter. The biggest thing about Netflix is that they had substantial subscriber growth, which is big for this company. And Netflix is actually starting to dive into live streaming here, right? This is a big move for Netflix, and personally interests me as well because I have live cable as well, right? So, you know, you got your Hulus, you got your Disneys, or actually, does Disney have it? You have your YouTube TV. So they're starting to get into live cable as well, and they're getting growth in subscribers, and they're increasing in revenue. So that's a good thing. So Netflix actually had a fairly good report, and you can see the results of that. I mean, this thing absolutely moonshotted. Now, the problem child this week out of all the big ones that reported was Tesla. So Tesla is in interesting territory here. Let's take a look. So Tesla's just, I mean, absolutely dumpster diving right now. Not the best report, and honestly, it wasn't too much of a surprise. You know, Tesla's kind of getting a little stagnant right now. There's a bunch of things related to that. Some of that is supply chain issues, right? They do a lot of their supply chain funnels through China and whatnot. And they're starting to see a little bit of a decrease in sales. Now, you got to remember, in the grand scheme of things, they're still selling the shit out of these cars, okay? But whenever you're below the market's expectations of how you should be performing, then you take an impact on the stock. Investors freak out. Typically, every reaction to the stock market tends to be an overreaction. I think Tesla's going to be great in the long term. I'm personally invested in the Tesla. I'm not too worried about this. It's actually a buying zone for me. Tesla typically likes to respect around the 200s, swag that number, 200s area, you know, plus or minus about $20. So about where we're at right now. There is a chance we could go further down, which is fine. But Tesla typically can pick up legs pretty quickly when it gets really cheap. Just one thing to keep in mind. You know, the last time Tesla had sequential bad news in a row, it takes me back to a period back in 2022, late 2022, right? This thing went from 300 down to 104, 103. And then within a span of 1 month, it recovered 100%, right? Within a span of 1 month, it went from I think it was 6 weeks, so a month and a half. It went from about $100 to $200 within that time frame. It's because it's getting so cheap. I'm not saying it's cheap fundamentally, but it's cheap at least technically. So Tesla's always been that stock that's kind of way overpriced and things like that. You know, a lot of it is just simply investing in Elon Musk with this company, and that's why there's such, you know, good retention on this stock. So Tesla's one I want to watch just for the very long term. But those are kind of the two highlights of the week, right? All the major highlights. So we had some economic data come out. We had GDP come out this morning. Tomorrow we have PCE pre-market, so that's an hour before the opening bell. Pay attention to that. And then we are going to get even more into earnings in the following weeks here, okay? So I don't know who's next week slated. If I recall, it should be big tech. So I think you're going to start seeing your Microsofts. You're going to start seeing your Googles. Apple, I think, is more on the tail end of things. I don't recall. I'm going off the dome right now. I'll know on Sunday when we have our live stream on Sunday. I'll let you guys know. It's all reporting next week, but big tech should be coming in more and more. So we're going to see a little bit more volatility, I think, in the markets. A lot of these are market movers, big components of the stock market. So something to be looking out for. So going back here, let's go back to the markets here. So a little bit of a tricky week here on the S&P or on SPY, just the markets as a whole. Part of it is because we shattered through all-time highs. When we broke all-time highs, we did it so quickly and so aggressively. We had such a big move over the week that typically when you have such a big move in a hurry, you have a lot of laggardness after that. So because we move so quick, so fast, we're starting to see more inside days, slower days. That's okay. It doesn't last forever, but that's kind of what's going on right now. And you can see it. You can see it just staring at the candles physically, right? These are small-bodied candles you've been experiencing throughout really the entirety of this week. Ever since we broke all-time highs, we just got these small-bodied candles. A lot of inside days here. The only day that wasn't really an inside day was yesterday. But we've been trading inside days. If you are a scalper, you know, like me, or if you like to day trade, there actually has been fairly decent intraday moves here, surprisingly, for how small the price at, or for how small these swings are. But that's pretty much where we're at right now. So right now we're floating in kind of no man's land. It's hard to kind of, it's not hard, but there's a different way at which you approach, you know, well, where's the next level we're watching, right? What's the next key level? Because typically when you're looking for key levels, you're looking way off to your left, right? You're looking off to your left side, right? So if I'm looking at the S&P 500, right, all-time highs was up here, it was about 480, or at least on SPY. And so now it's like, oh shit, well, where's the next level? There's no more data, right? Because we're trading in no man's land is what I like to call it. Now there's ways you can mark this. I showed the group on private live streams on how to do this, but I'm just going to keep it simple for you. The next level you're going to want to watch is that 490 level, okay? 490. That's the next whole clean psychological level. A lot of these clean hold numbers are, you know, they're just big levels, okay? This is what the market respects. This is what algorithms are looking for. This is what big banks, hedge funds, firms, they respect these levels. They watch these levels. And so 490 is going to be the next key level you're going to watch. Not quite to 500 yet. 500 is going to take some smoke, but 490 is going to be the level. Now, one thing I'm interested in is actually a pullback here. It wouldn't surprise me if we do get some sell-off here in the next few days, within the next few weeks, just because, if anything, it's healthy, right? We just had a substantial breakout. So it wouldn't surprise me if you saw some kind of pullback move like this, right? Push up, retrace, right? Old resistance becomes new support, stock trading 101. And then we continue on our way towards 500. So don't be scared if you see some red in the next few days here. If anything, it's healthy. If anything, it's attractive. I'd be looking for longs as it's going down personally. And I'm excited to see what's ahead here. So again, slower week. I wouldn't say choppy, but just slower, just because we had such an aggressive move so fast. Let's take a look here. Excuse me. Just got over like a cold or something. All these damn cute girls out here, man, they be giving colds out like it's candy. So we're here on SPY, and you know, today, like I said, today to each their own. But it really wasn't a bad day when it comes to price action. It just depends on how you trade. You are starting to notice a pattern this week too, and simply this week, I don't know if it's going to carry through, where kind of the first half of the morning has been very slow, very choppy. So you really got to be a little bit patient here is what I found, because once you get through kind of the first portion of the mornings here, again, this is atypical, but once you get through that first portion of the mornings here, you start to see a little bit of that efficiency price into the markets here. So we're starting to see a little bit of that as a common theme, right? Look at yesterday, kind of the same thing, right? You had an initial dip in the morning, which is not uncommon, you know, and then you push up, and then you kind of just, you know, drag around here, and then boom, just out of nowhere, right? You get this huge sell-off, huge, consistent, clean sell-off. So you're starting to see a little bit of this just like lagging morning, and then you just start going a little bit, or it starts waking up a little bit. Same thing on Tuesday, right? All right, kind of like a whatever, nothing burger first part of the morning, and then market just like doesn't do shit all during lunch, and then all of a sudden you just get this aggressive move or this displacement, this market structure shift. You know, it finds its zones, right? It finds its zones, respects its zone, and then it's off to the races to clean up the day. So that's one theme I'm noticing. Maybe you use that as an edge. Again, patterns tend to repeat themselves, but don't always have to, and they don't always have to sustain as well. And then, you know, Monday, we won't even look at Monday. That's just straight ass right there. Okay. So Friday, you know, Fridays are to each their own. Fridays are not my best day for trading, but I'm always looking for opportunities. So we'll see what Friday brings. I trade futures, like I said. I trade futures and options. Futures are very quick. I scalp that, but I pretty much scalp options too. I'll swing options overnight, and then I'll scalp them intraday if I see any opportunities. But I usually reserve those opportunities for futures intraday, and then I'll swing options overnight. One option call that I'm in is Roku. I know people in here are going to ask about it if they're in here. So here's some free sauce if you guys Want to grab this, whoever's on the free stream tonight and not part of the Discord. Price target I'm watching for tomorrow is the first one's gonna be that 86.67 here, but the big thing that I'm watching, and then the next one's down here. But the big thing that I'm watching here on Roku is that I'm just waiting for this thing to dump. I really think the potential's there. You know, the price action is supporting, right? Price action is supporting that. If you look at yesterday's close, excuse me, we had a 3 bar is what it's called. So essentially, we had pretty much a push up and then just doof, right? So that means sellers came in, they took it out, and that was a really nice move. Okay, so sellers are clearly dominant in this situation. You don't always get the follow through the next day, and that is what it is. It's part of trading. You can't time it perfectly, and even if you time it perfectly, it doesn't have to happen. And so today was one of those days where, you know, we were expecting follow through, but we didn't get it. But that's okay. We still had a down bar here, but you know, we pretty much had this indecision candle or this spinning top. So basically, buyers and sellers, they couldn't find an agreement, and it was, you know, pretty much ended up a flat day. Now that's not the best scenario you want to see if you're trading options, just because, you know, you have that theta decay when the price is just, you know, just cruising along all day. Like consolidation is probably the number one worst thing you want to see with options, but that's okay. Still staying optimistic here. I truly believe if we break this $88 level, that's really just our biggest floor right now. I mean, that thing's the linchpin. So if we can break $88, this thing is looking pretty nice for some good downside here. Couple things I'm seeing fractal as well is a head and shoulders, right? A little bit of a head and shoulders pattern there. Now, you don't want to trade patterns just straight up raw. That's like the worst thing you can do in trading. But it doesn't hurt to add them as a confluence because, like I said, I'm looking at the price action of this alone, and it already looks really good. So if I'm seeing patterns coincide with that price action, that's just stacking the probabilities in which we could see some more downside. And it was interesting today. I hear me out on this. Is this a fractal head and shoulders, son? Look at this. My damn shoulder of my head and shoulders got a head and shoulders, right? Did you catch that? Look at that. Come on, son. My damn shoulder got a head and shoulders. So, anyways, I'm speculating there. Tinfoil hat. Either way, $88 is the floor we want to break on Roku. If you guys are not in the Discord, this is one of the plays we're watching as a group here. We need to break $88, and I think she's off to the races. All right. That ain't KP. That's Jason Pitts. Oh, my gosh. Bro, that interview was something. That interview was something, boy. It's okay. Everybody's different. Everybody's different in this world. Yeah. Stop saying that. That is... Okay, that's not my type, first of all, because I already know what y'all going to say in here. She's looking for that gap fill or some bullshit. Y'all some goons, man. Y'all some goons. That is not my type. All right. I was out there doing business, getting street interviews. All right. That's all I'm about. That's all I'm about, son. All right. QQQ's not much to cover on QQQ. It's the same thing as SPY. I mean, pretty much, you know, tomato. Very similar in price action. Makes a little bit more magnified moves, but pretty much the same thing today. Excuse me. But yeah, that's what we got. Is there any questions? Okay, so I covered the markets. I talked about economic events. I talked about, you know, some of the things ahead that we can expect from earnings. So some of the headwinds that we have. I want to now reserve this time for you guys, right? It's a public live stream. I'm only going to do this once a week, so take advantage of the time. I'm hoping you reserve questions from the last live stream for this one, like I told you to. So if you have them, now's the time to ask them. Or if there's anybody from the Discord that's in here, you know, we can treat this like a normal live stream, and you know, you can just ask me whatever. Okay. Blow her account. Jeez. Too much. would you call that a falling wedge on SPY 5 minute that played out during power hour? Or was it lucky? Excuse me. You're talking about... I can't even see this thing. It's so ugly. Don't force patterns. Listen. I mean, that's not bad. It's a counter trend move, right? You can look at it in so many different ways. You can look at it as a counter trend break, a channel break, a falling wedge, a mystical falling wedge, whatever you want to look at it as. I think the big thing you need to learn to observe is what's going on here, like structurally. Okay. And what is a counter trend, right? What's going on structurally here is that you went from a series of lower highs and lower lows to all of a sudden, as soon as you form that higher high, right, that's your immediate change of character. Boom. That candle right there is pretty much like, I'm sure there was a candle before this one, but this for sure signified that, hey, we're looking like, price is turning around here. So you're seeing a change in structure, change of character, and that's really what's going on here. Now, the things you can use is confluence again. You can use patterns. You can use things like that. That's why I use trend lines. Trend lines. Look at this, right? You pretty much had, right? You had a counter trend break, retest of the counter trend, and then continuation, right? Man, I do not know how to use this tool to save my life. There we go. Right? Boom. So retest of the counter trend break or of the trend line break. There's a couple ways you can look at it. Falling wedge, boy. You saw a falling wedge in that thing, man. What the fuck? Let me see. I'm trying to draw that in, man. Yeah. Sure. It's to each their own. For me, with patterns, I'm quality over quantity with everything in life. And when I look at patterns, to me, the more obvious they stand out, the higher quality that they are. If it's not like screaming at me, then I just invalidate it. But everything, again, it's all preference. That's just how KP trades. It doesn't mean that's how you have to how you have to trade. Okay, but that's one thing I recommend. But the counter trend is, your head's in the right place, right? If you're seeing sequential higher lows, right? That's all a pattern is. That's all a wedge is, right? It's higher lows, right? And then lower lows squeezing to a point, and then that point's going to make or break the situation, and you're going to know if it's truly going to have continuation, if there's a change in character from that point, from that breakout point, right? If we form a lower low, right, out of all of our lower lows, and we form an even lower low, it's just going to keep dumping. And if we form a higher high out of the lower highs that we were having, then it's breaking out momentarily. It looked better on the 15-minute. Boy, what you know about that 15-minute, boy? Yo. Yeah, nice little channel here. I see the channel. You see a wedge. I see a trend line. You see a wedge. Tomato. I think at the end of the day, we're all pretty much seeing the same thing. We're just seeing it a different way. You know what I mean? That's why I don't get too caught up in like all these people are learning all these different concepts and shit online. And I'm just like, listen, at the end of the day, if I can identify the same thing you're seeing, it doesn't matter, right? Order blocks, FVGs, all that. Some people don't use fair value gaps. They use supply and demand zones, right? But you'll notice like how a lot of the different things that people use, they all pretty much are saying the same thing. It's just what's your edge or strategy around using those things, and then that's all it is, right? And then can you execute on a consistent basis utilizing that? That's how you drew it. Like I said, it's not like, again, they're so like, it's an art. You can't really, like, there's so much subjectivity in drawing patterns. I just try to eliminate as much as I can, by, again, looking for the obvious. Like, it has to be very blatantly obvious, like so obvious I don't even need to draw it in and try to find it. I should never try to find patterns. Like, that's what I've taught myself. I never try to really find patterns. I just see if patterns appear. Does that make sense? That's what really changed my mindset about patterns, because I used to always try to find patterns, and that didn't do shit for me. That actually probably ruined my trading. It didn't ruin my trading, but it was detrimental, right? And it kind of reminds me of Roku a little bit, right? I mean, aside from the fractal head and shoulders on the shoulder of the head and shoulders, the head and shoulders here is like this, I've seen so many of these fucking things. It's making me dizzy, son. I'm fucking losing my shit, son. And then when I look at this, it just screams at me head and shoulders. I don't need to draw it in. You see it. You see it. And typically, where do you find head and shoulders at, right? You find them near tops, right? You find them near tops, signaling a reversal. It's a reversal candlestick pattern, right? Head and shoulders, neckline, right? Slap it in there, son. So it's looking pretty good, right? And then inverse head and shoulders, right? Same thing. Boom. Okay. I like the stock. So hopefully that insight helped you guys out with patterns. That's just how I've looked at it. You don't have to go by KP. But patterns are one of the first things I learned as a trader, and I treated it like a religion at one point. And I'm like, listen, fuck the feds, right? That's basically all I said to myself. And then I was a changed man ever since. Ooh. All right. Anything else you guys want me to cover? Again, if you're new to the stream, do yourself a favor, man. Check out the Discord, man. It's for free, man. Right? Discord is for free. You get free access, guys. I'm going to give you guys a watch list every day with price targets. Come on now. Who the fuck else is doing this? Free stock and crypto watch list every day with price targets to the upside and downside, so you can play either way. You also get an in-depth analysis on each one of those, right? And you get access to a trading chat. And then if you want to take it a step further, of course, you'll get much more. We host private live streams every single day of the week except for Fridays and Saturdays. Sometimes we do it on Fridays. Sometimes we do it on Saturdays too. Well, you know, we might watch like UFC or something. It just depends on what's going on at the time. But, yeah. No questions? All right. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up the stream here. Hopefully you found this stream helpful. Again, like, comment, subscribe if you did. And we'll see you in the next one, gang. See you next